Hi, Eloy, and it's nice to meet you. You're the one person in the group that I have not interacted with, and so I have to be special polite. Oh, so many. I mean, you were really affected by this game. If you're interested, there's all kinds of lines and veils talk at its play. And it's not boilerplate talk either. It's actually really, really interesting, and I think that you would really like looking at it or listening to it. And then I'll just put that aside, just letting you know that I was very, very attentive to what you were talking about and that there's tons of material to bring to your attention. Then there is this very important thing, maybe the most important thing. And looking at yours and Ivan's and Anthony's videos really creates an almost triptych of three different glances toward the same thing, which is the notion of in role playing adventure scenario of any kind. The default notion that you arrive and you are there pretty much as an agent, and you're going to, like a secret agent, even, and you have a mission and you're going to deal with troublesome things. There are people who are going to lie, so you got to figure out what the truth is. And there are people who don't know, so you're going to have to find out what they do know and match it across each other. And there are things perhaps to be dug up or tripped over, so you need to go walking about a lot in case you trip over something, or peer into corners, to get the thing. If somebody mentions a book, gotta run to the book, gotta flip it open, go through it. That often there is a problem, like an ancient crime or a recent crime, that has to be, either found out about, or if found out about, then acted upon. The most obvious, of course, being a menacing wampus. There is a monster about. As you said, there's a monster. Well, that clears up everything. Now you just got to go kill the monster now, right? This mode of play, and I think we're both familiar with it, and I think that there is such a tradition of it in role-playing that I have encountered people for whom doing anything else is just pretty opaque to them. They don't see other things. Circle of Hands favors another thing. And you yourself hit upon it enough in the video that I'm not saying, hey, look, I'm going to describe something completely novel to you. I just want to say you actually are already seeing the other thing. And I just want to kind of encourage that. The other thing being that you're not here to do anything except developing and dramatic portraiture of the person that you're playing. And since it's also a very dynamic thing, the character themselves is permitted to change, to be discovered through play and to be changed through play, that this is not just portraiture. This is, well, I hate this word because it's so badly used, but just put a small d on it, drama. Okay, look out. And I know that creates for me all sorts of terrible associations with overly thespian role playing that I don't want to have anything to do with. But engaging in your character that way for what you were calling immersion, and I completely respect your use of that word and the way you described it, is really what this is about. That I love that, and I design toward it. So I think you're very much on the right track with that, and that you will find certain beauty should you ever play a Circle Knight who was played by someone else already, that you have been handed wonderful raw material, which is not only yours to use, but yours to shape and further develop. Here I can address something you brought up, which relates to this. Ventures are played in chronological order. There's no asynchronous play. You don't play a venture that occurs before some other venture. Time in Circle of Hands, session by session, is linear time. It goes from the past into the future and doesn't do anything else. So that can help because you can say, well, these are what we have seen this character do in that order, and you can build on that insofar as your spontaneous sense of rightness, feels like being dictated to, like a muse during play. I'm aware of that. Well, something else about that, and you also sort of alluded to this, and I think it is something, again, I'd like to encourage to recall that if your characters don't hit a tripwire, that it will turn out okay for Rolk. It's not like a game in which, oh no, if we screw up, the entire purpose of the mission is lost. That, consequence, you got to play well, you got to play right, you can't guess wrong, you can't make a mistake or you'll screw it all up. It's exactly the opposite. It is possible for the venture not to go well for Rolka. It is, however, not that likely. It's actually pretty likely that it will. And I specifically include showing up at a venture, the charm rolls go hideously awry, and given the circumstances and the way things have gone, there is nothing the GM can do, and I mean nothing, except have everybody come at you with crossbows shooting and axes waving, torches lighting everything on fire, and every single person in this community wants you and your friends dead as a doornail now. Well, screw you, says one player, and casts an abominable, casts a volcano, and then the other player says screw you simultaneously to everybody trying to kill them, and casts wrath, and suddenly you have the impact of a 3-point black spell and a 3-point white spell booming simultaneously, and the Circle Knights manage to get out and go home. And they will forever after refer to when we went to the crazy place where everybody was an asshole. Or we went and did our best and things didn't work out. What can you do? It's the Iron Age. Things don't work out all the time. Had to kill them all. Did they hit a tripwire? No. How does it go for Volka in the future? Fine. Did they hunt the Wumpus? No. Did they solve the mystery? No. Did they make the feuding clan members hug? No. Went fine. This is really, really important for the game. It's important for it thematically, and it's important for it procedurally as a player. That the sort of, I guess I associate it with a lot of different kinds of role-playing, but I specifically associate it with puzzle-type, mystery-solving, lurking murderer scenarios. The idea being that you have to play in a defensive crouch and you have to be super perceptive, and you, the player, have to put together a bunch of things, and the player has to be deeply investigative and deeply careful, or else it'll all screw up. And that's really not what we're playing with here. You have immense freedom to develop, build, discover, and enjoy the player character that you have this time, and not under the pressure of, can't screw up the mission. Yes, your characters do have goals, like you said. You find out what the character wants for their goals. Again, as you can see, this is part of the design, that you are not assigned a goal by a third party or a top party or a boss or anything like that. Well, that's kind of what I had to say, and that I think you're really, really well situated toward doing that. Some of your speculations about what future play might be like kind of make me bite my tongue, because I know the answers to these things, having seen them many times. Proceed like you're doing. I think you'll find the answers are different from what you were thinking about, and I look forward to what comes of that. And I will be happy to keep watching and keep enjoying this with you guys. Thanks for including me. Take care.